Hey, I'm Daniel and welcome to a quick solo playthrough of Neon Rain. This video is part of my first impression series where I try each of the 12 different heroes, and I will probably follow it up with a full review once I see how everything plays out. And well, enjoy the play. Alright, so today we have Reylen against Neon. The star ability of Reylen is called Force Blow. For 5 stars it deals 3 damage and also 3 strikes, which combos really well with the passive ability called Grind, because for every strike we also add 1 damage. And remember that the damage dealt from the star abilities is unblockable, and that means that even those 3 strikes is also part of the star ability, so that part is also unblockable as well. And for the Neon we have the star ability called Glow. For 5 stars it deals 4 damage and gains 2 star back, and for the passive ability Reflex, when you play a counter card, gain 1 star. So I have a bad feeling that we're gonna see this ability triggering quite often this match, so I guess my best bets would be just finishing off the opponents before that. And as always, let me shuffle the cards on camera so we could make sure that everything is completely fair and unscripted, and just a pure random finds as you would normally get whenever you're playing against another opponent, a real opponent, or whenever you would play solo as well. So I'm shuffling solo deck as well, making it as random as I can. So yeah, that should do it. Now I'm drawing 7 cards to my hand, and just so we could see the cards, I'm gonna lay them flat like that. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's see what we can do. And I think I'm gonna try to go all in on the offense, playing this right joystick alongside those 2 buttons to hopefully deal some extra damage with the combo. Of course, all the counter cards are still here, so I would say it's pretty unlikely that this will hit, but of course we'll see. And the opponent is defending with 2 cards, and that is so because I'm playing on the hard mode. And wow, look at that, 2 blanks. That is indeed very lucky. That means I'm gaining 1 star because of the joystick and also doing strike, so that means they are forcing the opponent to discard the top card from their deck, and for each strike they take 1 damage, so this is pretty good. And then we're also having 7 damage because of that combo, 4 damage from the buttons, plus 1 extra damage because of the 2 buttons all the same color, plus 1 extra damage from this pair and 1 extra damage from this pair, so there 7 damage in total, bringing the opponent down to 17 health. Wow, that was quite a big burst of damage, and very lucky indeed. Alright, so that was the end of my attack. Now the opponent is attacking me this time, and just with a single joystick, and I think I'm not gonna even throw this, even though I could, so I think I'm just gonna let the opponent gain 1 shield token and 1 star, and that's it. Although there was a combo breaker here at the bottom, so that is pretty good. Now back to my turn, and you know what, looking at this hand, I think I'm just gonna draw back to 7 again, so that is 5, 6, 7. There are some joysticks that I could play in defense, which is pretty good. Now the opponent is attacking, and that is some damage as well. Now I have quite a lot of choices of cards that I could play in defense. I could completely throw away this joystick, essentially breaking the combo as well, which would reduce the damage by 1, or I could also use this block, which would also essentially break this combo as well and reduce the damage by 3 in this case. And I can also add joystick as myself, even though I don't need healing yet, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think I still want to play this just to gain the star while I can. So you know what, let me just play this block and this joystick, which means the opponent is gaining only 1 star and dealing strike. Now I'm resolving my joystick as well, gaining 1 star and healing, which I don't need yet, but at least I got a star, and that was the whole point. And this button is completely countered with my block, so that was the end of the enemy's attack. Now back to my turn. And I think I have a quite weird hand, to be honest, so you know what, I think I would rather draw 2 cards, even though it's not a very efficient turn, I would say, but hey, and that is 6, 7. At least I got some extra combos potentially going on here. Alright, now the opponent is attacking, and that would be 2 stars, and you know what, I think I would rather prevent this from happening, so I think I'm gonna play this throw and this left joystick again, even though again I don't need any healing just yet, but I just want to take my opportunity to gain some stars. So I'm gaining 1 star, and I'm throwing away this joystick entirely, so I'm just taking 1 damage from the button, and because of the order that the cards are resolved, unfortunately I had to use my joystick first before taking damage, so, but that wasn't too bad anyway, I guess. So this is resolved. Now back to my attack. And let's see what I have. Now I have some potential combos that I could play, even just those 3 buttons, but you know what, I think there still might be quite a lot of blocks in this deck, and remember that whenever Neon blocks, it gains 1 extra star, and as soon as you get up to 5 stars, this glowing engine gonna fire off pretty quickly because it gains 2 stars back. So you know what, I think I'm just gonna try to play defensively, not giving any opportunity to counter my cards, so I think I'm just gonna draw again, back to 7, so that is 1, 2, and that is the end of my turn. and at least I have some button that I could play in defense, so that is pretty good. Now the opponent is attacking, and that is one heal, and you know what, I think I'm just gonna play this down joystick to slowly but surely gaining my stars. Alright, so first the opponent is gaining 1 heal, up to 18 now, and gaining 1 star. And now I'm gaining 1 star as well as 1 defense shield token. So this enemy attack is resolved. Now back to me, and you know what, I think I'm just gonna play those 3 yellow buttons, because that is potentially some decent damage. And even though of course there are still a lot of blocks here in this deck, I guess I still need to deal some damage, so let's see what we have. And we have throw, which is very good. And we have just 1 damage, which is just lovely. And because I didn't play any joysticks, that means that this throw is completely useless and also doesn't count as counter in my card, so Neon doesn't gain a star as well. And that also means that I can land all of this combo, dealing 8 damage, which one of them is prevented with the shield token, but 7 still goes through, bringing the opponent down to 11 health, which is pretty nice. The opponent is dealing 1 damage back, but I'm preventing this with my shield token, and that was the end of my attack. Not too shabby. Now the opponent is attacking, and that would be some extra star and a button. You know what, I think I'm gonna use my throw this time, because next turn I'm gonna draw cards anyway, so this way I'll gain some extra cards to my hand, so I think this is pretty decent. So I'm just throwing away this joystick entirely, and the opponent is playing just a single button essentially, dealing 1 damage. And look at that, we had also a throw here at the bottom, which is pretty good I guess, because we're not gonna see it next time. Alright, now my turn, and as I said, I'm just gonna draw back to 7, so that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not too bad. We have some joysticks that I could play in defense to guarantee trigger my ability, so that is good. Now the opponent is attacking, and that is quite a lot of damage, but you know what, I think I'm just gonna throw this away, alongside playing either down joystick or left joystick. And I think we already played quite a lot of left joysticks, which means there are more down joysticks should be here still in the deck, and that means I have a quite high chance of finding another pair of the down joystick, so I could play them together. So you know what, I think I'm gonna play left joystick now, even though it's pretty much the same as gaining 1 shield or 1 health. This wouldn't make much difference, but I think this is just a slightly better. Alright, so I'm throwing away the joystick. That means I'm resolving my joystick first. That means I'm gaining 1 star, which is enough to trigger my ability, yay. So I'm dealing 3 unblockable damage first, bringing the opponent down to 8 health, and I'm also doing 3 strikes, which is 1, 2, and 3, and look at that, we have 2 blocks here, which is great, and for each of those strikes I'm also dealing 1 damage, so the opponent is down to 5 health, yay. I'm also healing for 1 health, and then the opponent is dealing 2 damage, so I'm now down to 22, which is still pretty manageable I guess. Alright, so that was my defense. Now back to my attack turn, and you know what, I think I'm gonna try to land a final blow if I can, because playing those 3 buttons would be exactly 5 damage, and that is exactly how much I need, of course provided that all of them will land. And I think there is at least 1 combo breaker still in the deck, but at least there shouldn't be many blocks already. So the opponent is gaining 1 shield, which is pretty bad, and throw, yeah, this is good. I was actually thinking if I should play this down joystick, but I'm glad that I didn't, because this would be countered of the throw. So yeah, this is not too bad I guess. First the opponent is resolving their joystick, gaining 1 star and 1 shield token. Then I'm dealing 5 damage because of the combo, and of course one of the damage is prevented, but the opponent is down to 1 health, coming really close. Alright. Now the opponent is attacking, and let's see what we can, and that would be 3 damage. And you know what, I think I'm gonna play my down joystick this time, even though there is pretty good chance that we'll find another pair somewhere here, but I just want to gain 1 star just in case. So I'm resolving my down joystick first, gaining 1 star and 1 shield token. Now the opponent is dealing 3 damage and preventing 1 and taking 2, so I'm now down to 20 health, which is still pretty manageable I guess. And yep, now back to my turn, and having just a single card, I guess this could finish it off, but you know what, that is too risky, so I would rather draw back to 7, so that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, and I have pretty decent hand, and I still have quite a lot of health, even though I have quite a bad feeling that next turn the opponent gonna deal a bunch of damage. Alright, we'll see. And yeah, that would be 3 damage from the combo, and also 4 damage from the star ability. So you know what, I think I'm gonna play both of my defense joysticks like that. And look at that, we also have another throw here by the way. So I guess first is the opponent gaining 1 star first, which is now enough to fire it off, so I'm removing 3 stars because it gains 2 back anyway, so I'm taking 4 damage down to 16 health. Now I'm resolving my joysticks, gaining 2 stars, 1 heal and 1 defense token, so this isn't too bad I guess. And now the opponent is dealing 3 damage because of the combo, so I'm preventing 1 and taking 2 down to 15 and also strike. So yeah, that wasn't too bad after all I guess, at least I have enough health to still take some damage. Alright, and now back to my turn. I'll try to finish off the enemy. You know what, I think I'm just gonna play those 2 buttons alongside the joystick, because I don't think there's any throws left here in the deck, which means I should be able to land this up joystick, which will fire off my ability, which should be enough to defeat the enemy. At least that's the plan. And buttons are just kinda like in case. Alright, so let's see, we have combo breaker, alright, and a button, and yep, that should be enough. Even though counter cards are resolved first, so the opponent is gaining 1 star as part of this combo breaker, but I'm still gaining 2 stars as a result in my joystick, which means I'm firing off my force blow ability, dealing 3 damage, and boom, KO. Wow, this was pretty good fight. And that's it for today's session, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're curious to see more characters in action or hear my full thoughts later on, feel free to subscribe. And if you would like to support the channel more directly, you can do this over on Patreon, and I would appreciate this a lot as well. And well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.